close to baseline as he can. And so what they're asking you to do is say, he acted unreasonably. He doesn't have a car. How is he going to go do all the things that come with the road to the right? He's already struggling to do the one to the left. And then you have to ask yourself, what if we live in their world? And he goes and does the surgery. The recovery, even if it all goes really well, and none of the bad things he's worried about happen, whether that be waking up, or what does his limitations look like for getting a surgery at 35, what would the value be if I presented that case to you? If he went and did all those things, had a surgery, had a remarkable recovery, really intense in the beginning and no longer figure out the new normal, and I asked you for $561,000, would that seem wrong? So why this way, where he's actually being more responsible than people who have a lot more means to do the right thing? And the next one. Burden of proof. More likely than not. I like pictures, I can't tell. I'm a visual guy. This is the evidence we presented you. Treating doctors, medical records. We talked about the unbiased witnesses in this case. One of them was that Tesla video. Unbiased, again, because they're not altered. They have no opinions. They are what they are. And multiple sets of images that all say the same thing. Some of them get a little worse towards the end, but generally all say the same thing, unbiased. So to answer my friend on the other side's question about why the doctors aren't here today is because they're expensive and they would say nothing different than what the records say. They all say the same thing. It would not be an efficient case for me to add a date to this and have 3 or 4 different doctors talk about each thing they did when it's right there on the paper. And we're not talking about treatment that didn't work or other experts they could have brought to say he should have done one of those things and maybe they wouldn't have harm done this now. No one came today for their side to say something like that. No one came to say that if he had done 7 more physical therapy sessions when they taught him how to do the exercises at home, that would stop the numbness part of this. We have the burden of proof. They don't have to do that. That's what she's going to say in her next closing. It's not my burden. She's right. It's not her burden. Why do I have a smoking gun on there? He's allowed to not be here, but imagine him sitting right here in the chair. And my friend says, I've got this doctor that's going to say everything I just said in my first class. He's going to ratify everything I said. But it's not my burden. Don't worry, we're not going to call. We're asking for $561,000. But we're not going to call. It's not my burden. So it's technically true. They don't have to do anything. I have to meet our burden, and I think we've done that today. We agree an injury occurred. No one's disputing the fracture was there. No one's saying it's pre-existing. We agreed that he had 2 courses of care, and then he got a second opinion. We agree he didn't follow up with the treatment he chose. That's undisputed. We just think that he has good reasons, or reasonable reasons, for why that didn't happen. This is the value part. This is what I want to get to with Andrew and why I picked that number. We talked about small things. He talked about small things that he enjoys. Peace, being alone, being able to do things for himself. He's a hustler. He's taking the MARTA to get to the doctors he doesn't want to go to. He's bumming rides off friends. He's bumming couches for sleep. He's getting his mom, who's gracious, and giving him money to take Ubers to go places. The night of the accident, he's going home to check on his dog and paying for an Uber each way because he can't wait for the ambulance the whole time. Peace, stability was a big one. Stability comes from health. We talked about hierarchy of needs. If you can't take care of your basic needs, you cannot excel in the things that come on top. That's where the damage on this case comes from. It's not just pain. Pain is one symptom and one part of this. I agree with my co-counsel. When you're talking about the pain part of this, maybe 4 months, and then a little bit in the future for, the flare-ups. But the pain is not limiting him now. That's not the problem. Numbness is not pain. Numbness and tingling in the fingers is not pain. But it can be annoying. 1 day is fine. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1,000 days. And who knows how much more. And we don't know if that's going to go away. It might only go away with surgery. It might not. It might not. Independence. choose how you spend your time, the right to choose what care you get, the right to choose when not to get care, the right to choose when you're just going to deal with it. And to some extent, that's not Mr. Williams' fault, but we don't know what the other universe looks like. There's been no evidence presented about what he should have done. There are two worlds that are competing right now, and you guys get to decide which one you live in. Spalding County decides which world is the right one in this case. There's one world where we don't put that much value on those things, and if you agree with that, that's okay. And there's another world where those things are really, really important. And because the system only lets us give money, that's all I can ask you for. I don't have a machine you can walk in, where you push a button and we're going to line to September 19, 2022. It doesn't happen. So what I'm asking you to do is gross. It's a hard thing to do. You guys took your oath. Next slide, please. I'm asking you, the verdict form is going to look a little different than this. It's consolidated. It has one line to put 561, 498, 60. And I thought hard about that number because it could have been worse, and it's not as bad as it could have been. You could have had a surgery and had a really bad outcome where it fails. You could have had the pain still going on now, and it doesn't. It's not a millions of dollars case. That wouldn't be reasonable. It wouldn't be the right verdict for the right reasons. You heard me talk a lot about oaths the other day. The right verdict for the right reasons. Don't come to my number with the wrong reasons. It's not the right verdict. A lot of you told us that you have people in your lives that might be going through something similar or have gone through something similar. Some of them are still dealing with it. Some of them may have gotten money in their own cases. If that comes into the jury room, gently but firmly tell them no. Your experience, while important to you, and it's okay for you to feel that way, you're human, you've experienced it, it should not affect what you put down on these lines one way or the other. You have to be fair to both sides. You guys get to do a cool thing besides being the first jury in this jury room. You are the county. The reason why we're here, you all saw, I saw some of you like looking like, Atlanta, why are we the ones deciding this? Because it's based off where Mr. Williams resides. His community gets to decide how this dispute is resolved. So you guys get to do a powerful thing. Your foreperson gets to write in what number you think is right. And then it gets recorded with the clerk. You could come back 10 years from now, and you will see which world you decided was the right one. One where we value those things, or one where we give less value to those things. You're going to do it forever. When you go home and get back with your lives, maybe talk about this experience. I get to go home and go back to work to my community. I'll be in the office tomorrow. Andrew's going to be Andrew, the same Andrew he was today. And this is really important to him. Really, really important. I don't know how else to help you with valuing those things. You have to use your common sense. You're in the jury charge, you'll read it. Your enlightened conscience. So you guys have to come together. You have to talk about those things. You're entitled to give less than what I'm asking for or less than what my friend on the other side is asking for. You're entitled to give more. I would caution you about too much. It needs to be the right verdict. It needs to be fair to Mr. Williams. And the evidence we presented is for what's going on in the future right now is numbers and tingling. And not, I can't move my arm anymore. So you have to be careful too. This question I ask myself in every case. How can they be right but we still win? How can they be right but we still win? That other path involves one and possibly two surgeries. With an undetermined outcome. We talked about mental suffering too. I think that's where the dollars come from on this case. The appreciation of the injury, the fear of what choice I have to make, the way they're rushing him through. He doesn't have trust. Trust with the doctor in a way where he feels comfortable that they're suggesting this big scary thing to just do it. And that's the doctor's fault for not giving him confidence. We forget that sometimes. I forget that in my job, that there are people involved. You get desensitized to things and you move through quickly and you treat people like numbers sometimes. I'm guilty of that too. And then he gets to another doctor that actually gives him time. He lit up when he talks about a second doctor. And one time we got him to talk a little more. He's like sitting with me and talking with me about what my options are. So So when he says, do this thing I never heard of, I feel comfortable doing it. Next slide, please. When we talk about do the lesson, when I say recover, by the way, we're talking about the money I'm asking for, not like his recovery. It doesn't require him to gamble on surgery for him to be reasonable. You're allowed to find that looking for an alternative course of care that's more conservative is reasonable. You're allowed to understand that he wasn't trying to not go to the doctor. It's not like he skipped out on day one and then he's saying, oh, I'm hurt, my life is over. He made an effort to go. He tried to find different ways to do it. And at some point, he's making a call that says, this is a lot, and I've gotten what I'm looking for on what's stopping me, and what more can I do? Someone in different circumstances, maybe you would judge differently if they don't have a good reason for why they're not going. That's why I told you in the beginning, not for sympathy, what his situation was, so you can evaluate whether he's being reasonable in that context. 6-year-old. I'm actually pretty confident about this panel. You guys seem very engaged, which is good. But when you hear something wrong in the jury box, you might. Normal things might happen that make you think about things outside of what you're supposed to consider. Take it seriously and hold yourself to that oath. You don't want to wake up a week from now and go, dang, you put a number in there and it was based off something all of us told you not to talk about. So please take that seriously. And that's all I have for you. I appreciate your time.
Member of the jury, Ms. Joseph, as you heard me say earlier, gets the right to do final close. As soon as that's done, I'll give you the final charge, and then you all will have this. The floor is yours, Ms. Joseph.
Heard a lot. Mr. Samuels has repeatedly, during this argument, put words in my mouth that I have fought hard to say I'm not saying that. I'm not operating in the alternate universe. Mr. Giles had two choices. Surgery or conservative care. He chose. I'm not asking him to have surgery. I'm not insinuating he should have had a surgery, but he can have a bigger burden. So I'm not in an alternate universe. I'm not in another plane. I'm only basing everything I've said here based on the evidence. I've not repeated anything that he's produced to us. I've not repeated his play that was Philly. I believe him. I'm operating in the universe that they provided for us. He had a choice of surgery. He had a choice of conservative treatment. Based on the conservative treatment, what was it? It wouldn't have been difficult to get a doctor to testify via deposition. The doctor didn't have report list regarding his care, regarding anything ongoing. Dr. Picard notes and treatment stopped on January 6, 2023. There's nothing after that. The judge has said repeatedly, we've taken years to get here. But over the course of this litigation, not a video deposition of the doctor, only one universe. This was a serious accident. He had limited care, limited treatment that he chose, and I understand the reason he chose that. So now we can't make phantom or create numbers based on what he didn't choose. We have to base his damages on what he did choose. There's choices. And I get that. I really do. My heart goes out to him with what he endured because of the accident. I didn't just pick the number out of the hat. His number 552,000. That's arbitrary too. We're doing the best we can. And the reason why we have to do it this way is because the records lack what we need. Objective, quantifiable things from doctors, medical providers, experts that would help us make a better decision. We don't know the alternative record, there is no long-term care treatment. I don't know what that would look like. There's no permanent impairment. I don't know if he had one, what it would be. All he has is the damages he presented. And so I asked you to give him all of his medical bills because we did that. It came out of this accident. And awarding some more beyond that. And we believe between $40,000 and $80,000 for a total award of $102,000 to $102,000 does consider everything.
Thank you, sir. All right, members of the jury, the last instructions from me, and then we will have the case. Members of the jury, during your deliberations, you must not communicate with anyone by any means at any time about this case. Additionally, you must not use any electronic devices regarding this case. You must not access the internet in any manner regarding this case. You must not conduct any research whatsoever until after I've accepted your verdict. Whatever your verdict is in this case, it must be agreed to by every juror. It must be in writing, please, not pencil, dated, and signed by your foreperson. It must be returned and read aloud in open court. I will personally read the verdict out loud in open court. Your verdict must be unanimous. One of your first duties in the jury room will be to select one of your foreperson to act. One of you to act as foreperson who will preside over your deliberations and who will sign the verdict, which all of you freely and voluntarily agree. Once you have returned your verdict, I will ask that the foreperson please sit in the front red seat closest to the jury door. At that point, when you start your deliberations, please start them with an open mind. Please carefully consider all the evidence in the case, and please deliberate with an aim toward reaching a unanimous verdict consistent with your consciences and oaths as jurors. Please avoid premature fixed opinions, consult with one another, and consider each other's views. Each of you must decide this case for yourself, but you should do so only after discussion and consideration of the case with your fellow jurors. Do not hesitate to change anything if convinced that it is wrong. However, you should never surrender honest convictions or opinions to be congenial or to reach a verdict solely because of the opinions of the other jurors. As you're about to go into the jury room, but do not begin your deliberations until the following events have occurred. First, the bailiffs are going to deliver to you the exhibits which are on the table there, the verdict form which is right here, and these instructions. Once you've received those three, then only then are you allowed to begin your deliberations. There will be a bailiff outside the door of the jury room during your deliberations. If you have any questions, please write out that question. Have your foreperson sign and date the question, knock on the door, and the bailiff will respond. You can please fold the piece of paper for privacy, hand it to the bailiff will bring the question to me, and you will continue with your deliberations. Once I have an answer to your question, I will either call you out to address it during the courtroom, or I will respond in writing, which will be delivered back to you by the bailiff. Once you have a verdict, you will follow essentially the same procedure, except that your foreperson will not give the verdict to the bailiff. Instead, your foreperson will keep the signed and dated verdict form until I've had an opportunity to ask your foreperson a couple of questions about his mental report. Please take a moment to pull out your phones from wherever you stashed them, turn them off, and pass them to the bailiffs. They will keep them and they will protect them with their lives and know where your cell phones are, and they will give them back to you at the conclusion of the case. As I said earlier, one of you are the alternate jurors, and you will not be participating in the decision on this case. If it makes you feel any better, I was an alternate juror on a 3-week death penalty mental health competency trial, and I knew I was the alternate the whole time. So sorry, but Robert Hudson, sorry, you are my alternate. So what you're going to do is I'm going to have you gather for things over there. You're going to go to this room here, and you're going to hang out there. You do get to keep your phone though, and you're welcome to sit and fill around on it. Just don't do anything to do anything with this case, okay? All right, thumbs up. We're good to go. All right, if you need to step out at any point, use restroom later, just knock and the bells will take care. Lastly, I have been responsible for the schedule up until this moment. That changes the moment you all go in there as a jury to deliberate. As of this moment forward, you are your own bosses. You decide the schedule. If you want a break, you take a break. If you want food, you tell me what we want. Whatever it is you need to feel like you have the support of the court to sign this, if you all will go back in the jury room, give the bailiffs your phones, and I'll let you go this way. Yeah, you put the light on. When Mr. Samuels gets back, well, when Mr. Samuels gets back, y'all will go through the exhibits, make sure they're all correct. And here's the verdict form. And that's the worst job you have ever.
You gotta get you a basket.
Yeah, we have a basket upstairs, but I guess he doesn't